everybody, YouTube, everyone. Everybody who's watching, welcome back to our channel. We have a guest. Yay! Rachel from UKAfrolista, and I just spilled my tea. Yay! And this is gonna be Hearsay episode 4. Yes. 4. So we have topics, we have some questions that we'll be discussing, and let's kick it off. So first things first, although I wasn't there, recently there was the Shea Moisture event that you guys went to and had a good time. So we just had a question in regards to products such as Shea Moisture and Aviella being on, like Aviella's on Superdrug, and Shea Moisture is obviously now in Boots with the launch, and how we feel about the products that are now on these platforms as opposed to maybe being on distribution websites that are black owned or in the black hair shops, although they're run by Asian people. But yeah, it's just your opinion on your thoughts on it.
At first I was a bit like, okay, what's really going on? Because it's only recently I went to Superdrug and I saw the black section. I was like, oh,
there's a black section.
There's a black section.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, there's a black section in Superdrug. Like, it's all got colours, like orange colours and stuff. And I thought, this is interesting. And then I went to Boots, and I think I just browsed around and saw what was there. And when I heard that Shea Moisture was coming, I thought, okay, this is interesting. Let me see what happens, because I know brands like this are already in our kind of equivalent in America, Target, Walgreens. Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing coming here. True. But my thing was, who's going to be profiting from this? It's not us, it's going to be Boots, Superdrug. You know, we lose out again. Maybe it's not targeted at us, it's targeted at a wide, diverse market, because that's the thing about who's shopping at Boots and Superdrug. Yeah. We don't go there to get our hair products, and we very rarely do we shop down those aisles when we're in there getting our cosmetics or toiletries. Do we really say, let me go look in the hair section and see what I can pick up? So at first I was like, okay, maybe it's a good thing, and I thought maybe it's not actually appealing to us. Maybe they want it for the people that may be interested in looking for something for curly hair. Because a brand like Shea Moisture isn't actually branded as such to black hair. They don't use like pictures on the box that say black hair care or whatever. It's always been very basic. Neutral, yeah. So I was like this about it. I wasn't too sure, but I'm kind of just seeing what happens. Especially after what this is the launch about. This is your brand and it's about you. So if it's about us, I want to see what's going to happen, and is it really going to be about us? Because you say one thing and we see it before, another thing happens. So what I found interesting as well was there's only been hype about the brand being here because it's now in Boots, when it's been in the country for quite a while on other online stores. That's true. So I thought, why is it only now you're proud to be in the UK or London when you've been stocked in other stores? And I've worked with Shea Moisture in America, and I've been told, like, I wanted to work with them here for years, and like, we're not in the UK yet, fine. And then when I did speak to them last year in regards to my tour and stuff, they were like, we're only in one store, which is Beauty by Zara. And I was like, cool, but I've never really seen you say you're in Beauty by Zara. So it was very interesting for me to see this massive, you know, celebration of being in Boots. And I don't know if it's a thing of they feel they're now established because they're in a major store, or if it's a money thing. We don't know what the deal is. We don't know what the business is behind closed doors. We're coming as consumers, bloggers, but we don't actually know what the deal is. We really don't know what this is. So I think we still need to give it time and just...
Yeah, I feel that as well. Like, Shea Moisture as a brand now, I'm just keeping an eye on.
Yes.
There's certain things that I've been side-eyeing, not gonna lie. Yeah. I still love their products. Yeah. But, like, for instance, you know, selling the shittest whatever to the Mitt Romney, Bain, whatever, I feel like, you know, there's other black venture capitalists, people out there that you could approach if you wanted some intel to globalise. There's not only just white people out there doing that. So that's one aspect. If you want to globalise an organisation, that's fine, but you could also approach a black person, because I don't think there'd be such a big uproar from the natural community if they did approach a black person to do that and sell their shares to a black person.
And is there also that issue of always feeling like we have to include other races or ethnicities or whatever in what we do? Is it a thing where companies or people feel like they have to include other ethnicities and other races for them to be a success?
We've gone through the market where we've seen loads of companies, predominantly white-owned, with white branding, and they're a success.
Yeah.
So I don't see why we have to do the same thing.
But I think it also comes down to us believing in brands and supporting brands. Because if we can spend money other places, why is it so hard for us to spend money with our own?
And that's why I give Shea Moisture the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Because they're still at the moment black owned. Until that changes, then I'll probably have an issue with it.
Yeah.
But another thing as well, the point of view that one of the UK brands mentioned was that now that Shea Moisture's in Boots, that opens the doors for other black brands to try and get in. So that's another point on Shea Moisture.
But at the same time,
on the flip side,
if Shea Moisture don't do well, it kind of closes the door for brands. So it's that kind of thing of we need to support these brands in order for other brands to come through as well. Because the moment Shea Moisture, they say, no, we don't want you no more. And then other brands come along and like, how would it be? Well, we had a brand, it didn't work, so why should we have you type of thing?
True.
And because Shea Moisture isn't predominantly marketed as a black brand, there may be other ethnic hair brands that come in and say, well, we're for the black market. And they're like, well, Shea Moisture came in and they said they're for the black market too. And they didn't have any black promotion or whatever, but it didn't work, you know what I mean? So it's a very, very iffy thing because like you said, do we really need the co-sign in order to be greater? I'm happy for Shea Moisture in the sense of they're now being branded and distributed to a wider market, but at the same time, a cut of that is still not going to us. And I don't know if that's going to be the thing anyway. If we have to become, if we want to become bigger, right? Do we have to always give away a portion to somebody else in order for us to get to where we need to get to? So it's a very hard one to say yes or no or whatever, and that's why I think it's still early days.
How many people are paying attention to this though?
And that's what bothers me, is the fact that people are not paying attention because this is how things like this happen. And then when it gets to the bigger point of if they get sold out to a white company, people then get upset.
Yeah,
and it's like,
but it's the whole lead up to it.
Right, but at the same time, if we're gonna really prosper as a community and get somewhere as a community, we need to start paying attention to what's going on and really taking an interest. The moment we don't pay attention to it, it no longer becomes ours.
And that's typically what happens
and
historically.
That's hard.
And the conversation continues. So it'll be great to hear your thoughts and your comments, leave comments below.
What is your definition of an afro with regards to texture, curl type, shape, volume? Is there such thing as an afro? Does it encompass different types of hair? Or can only type 4 hair be an afro, for instance?
That's the question. This kind of plays on what is natural hair as well, which is one of those things that I've been thinking about, because I kind of no longer say natural hair in general because it seems everybody wants to use the term natural hair.
Columbus.
Yeah. So I now say afro natural hair, and for me, afro natural hair is textured hair, which means you fall into the category of 3B, like 3B down to 4C, whatever it is. I see people do 6A, 5D, whatever it is. Don't choke, it's real. GCSE. No, real talk. I see people say like my 5A hair. I'm like, what hair do you have? Yeah, so for me, afro hair is any hair that's textured, any hair that has a curl or a kink to it. Now, some people will say, well, isn't it defined? Yeah, is it defined by the curl or the shape? Because what we've known afro hair to be from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, is more of the round shape. And then some people use afro to describe the texture. And I think afro, the texture, is more applicable to products, styling, but the shape is more of a fashion term to use for the hair. But for me, I feel like there's some people I've seen that say they have an afro, and I'm like, okay, let's be real, because this is what we do. There's some people, right, who fall in that 3A, 3B category, who do this middle hair flip over thing. So they flip their hair from the middle this way, and then they shape it to look like an afro. And I'm like, yeah. Because then when they flip their hair back, it's no longer. So I'm like, oh, okay. And this is not specifically me, but I've been scrolling, you know, like Instagram pages where you have like natural hair pages.
I couldn't sit no more.
No, we gotta call a thing. We gotta call a fro a fro.
We gotta call a fro a fro. I like spade a spade.
Because it's getting to a point now where you go on natural hair pages for inspiration or for looks. And I know I fall into the free category, free for a category, but sometimes I see some hair and I'm like, that is not an afro, that is not afro hair. Just because you have a slight wave or curl to your hair doesn't mean that you fall into this category.
Yeah.
And it's very annoying because it does play in that whole good hair, bad hair thing again. And the texture discrimination. And people are getting more spotlight because they have that texture hair. And I'm not saying that hair is not pretty or beautiful, it is. But somebody with a kinkier texture also has pretty and beautiful hair too. And that needs to be celebrated too. So it's one of those things of, who defines it? Do we define it? Does the industry define it? I don't know. But I have seen some foolishness upon Instagram and the Tumblrs and the Facebooks and the Pinterests.
From young, like my understanding of an afro, like you said, the 50s, 60s, 70s, my understanding of an afro was always in regards to, the shape. Yeah. As it being like up and puffy and, the texture as well, I would say. Usually like, I mean, do I have to go into types? Yeah, for, I don't even know the types. You know, GCSE.
Kinky.
Kinky.
Afro.
Or whatever. And that was always how I saw an afro. So now when I started seeing people with, you know, much looser textures, maybe not even having the shape, it might just be a bit big, saying afro, I was a bit like,
See, I think of it in a different way. Sorry about this. So, from, like you said, from the 50s and 60s, that's an afro to me. But to me, that's a type of style. An afro is a style. It doesn't define your texture. Okay. So when people have an afro, even back in those days, everyone had different textures, obviously. But they pick their hair out with the afro pick to get that shape. Yeah. So when they get that shape, to me, that's an afro. That's what an afro is. I wouldn't say I have an afro. I'd say I have kind of, if you want to call it afro textured hair, but I just say it's curly, kinky, whatever, because afro to me does not determine what texture you have.
And I think the terms curly, kinky, and coily better suit when you're describing hair rather than say you have afro hair, because then that's so wide and broad.
Exactly.
Because we could all say we have afro hair, but we all have different hair textures and types, so it doesn't make any sense when you look at it at that point. But then I look at things from the industry point as well, and they like to use the term afro to draw in that market. Yeah. So they'll say, our products is for afro hair. You're just like, okay, so does that mean it's for my hair?
Is that me?
Her hair? Who's it for? But I think sometimes afro is a code word for black.
Yeah, it is.
So I think in that regards, okay, I get it. But at the same time, I'm just like, it's not the same for everybody.
It's not. So the next thing we're going to talk about is stigma. Maybe not stigma, but this kind of notion that we feel that black women don't support themselves or support each other within the community. And take it away, Rachel.
Okay. I think this is more of a myth than it is to be true, meaning that I don't think it's a big issue as people make it out to be. I think it's a very personal issue depending on what industry you work in. And I think when it comes to things like the natural hair community or YouTube, there is some cattiness and pettiness there and some elements of people not supporting each other. We know this to be true. But I think it's down to more personal, more reasons why. There's people you don't like, people who don't like you, and that's why there's that tension there. But I don't think it's purposely because we're all black in one room and we just don't like each other. I think it's more so, there's a girl in the room that you don't like, she don't like you keep to your distance, and that's what it is. I think sometimes we are, perceived to be angry and aggressive or whatever it is, and people just assume that when we're all together we can't get on. But there are a lot of black women that do have very long friendships and have big group of friends and stuff like that. And I just think it's more of a personality clash sometimes rather than because we're black. It's just a thing of us being women sometimes. Yes, we do get competitive and we do have jealousy issues and stuff like that. But I think that's in general with anything in life. Men get jealous of each other. They have the alpha male thing about them where they have to be top dog or whatever it is. And I think sometimes people feed into this idea that we can't get along because they have chosen not to. They don't actually want to. They want to work by themselves. They don't want to work in a team or a group. And that's fine. You do what you do for you and, you know, keep it moving. But I do feel sometimes people are actually scared to connect with other people and work together. I think people are scared that someone may come in and take their shine. And that comes out to personal opinion again. Like, if you're willing to work with other people, it's not about the competitiveness between you. It's about getting together and doing what you need to do for the purpose of what you're doing. But for some people, it's like, well, I don't want to work with her because she might take my shine or she might not. That's a personal thing. It's got nothing to do with the fact that people can't get on or whatever. So I do feel like it can happen. It's supposed to happen. It's meant to happen. And we come from that civilization of women work together. That's what they did. So I don't understand really and truly why people are feeding into this or living up to this type of stereotype when I see women getting along all the time. I just think it's a personal thing. There's women I don't like and I don't mess with them. That's fine.
I'm just tired of hearing how black women.
That's
like, I'm so tired of that.
I'm done with it.
What is that?
Yeah. How do you say it's only black
who
women?
has actually created that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Where has that really stemmed from? The whole black women don't get on with black women.
And I think that just comes down to the whole thing of us being aggressive.
Yeah.
And negative. I think that's another way of saying we're negative and we can't do this type of thing. And, oh no, don't do that. It's another way of making it a mental thing where if we feel this way, then when it comes to working in a team, it's that fear thing again. Yeah. We don't want to work together because I've heard that black people don't get along, so why would I want to work with them? Yeah. And it's that thing of we need to get over it because there are amazing people doing amazing things. Hello, we're sitting here making magic happen. It's possible if you want it to happen. Yeah. It's just sometimes I feel people just don't want to do things because they just don't want to do things, and that's down to them. And you have to look at the bigger picture of what it is. What are we trying to achieve here? Are we trying to do things or are we trying to compete with each other? Because that's not what it should be about. Like,
I feel like there's 2 points here that I'd like to make. It's the same thing as, for instance, I'm not trying to get political or whatever, but when it comes to like black on black crime, to me there's no such thing.
Yeah,
it's just the fact crime is crime. The fact that it's more perpetuated and, you know, spread around as a kind of notion is down to people talking about it more. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen in other communities. So that's one point. The other point is that when, for instance, you go to events like you're talking about the natural hair community and YouTube and whatever, when we go to events, we are very positive. We come out with this very positive energy. We want to know you, who you are, what you're doing, give us your details, we'll support you. We're not looking for that kind of negative energy. So I feel like if you're looking for negative energy, that's what you get back. Yeah. So,
and it's also about being adults
as well.
If you can be in a room with people you don't like and do what you need to do, that's being an adult. The moment you try to create tension or problems, that's when you're becoming a child. And if you really have an issue with somebody, address the issue and move on. And I think that's the issue as well. People don't want to really speak their feelings. They are more happy to just carry on doing what they're doing. And I understand if you want to make your day easier or whatever, but sometimes it takes a simple conversation to just come to a ground where, you know what, I don't like you, you don't like me, let's keep it moving, do what we're doing.
People like drama.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Really? No, really.
They love it, like they're addicted to it. Some people like it.
Yeah.
But all in all, I don't think it's a general thing. It's not a general notion, for instance, black women don't get along. That's not even true. So let's just allow it. That doesn't even make sense.
How many groups of friends are out there like, if that was the case, nobody would be friends with nobody.
First of all, Shea Moisture, would not be as successful as it is if black women didn't support black women.
The natural hair community wouldn't be as big as it is right
in America, especially. In America, especially as opposed to here, like it's so huge. Why is that? Because black women support each other. Let's change it. Black women do support each other. End of myth. Shut it down.
Anyway, Fantilization says that they'll like to hear our opinion on the whole social media is not real movement, and do we think it's genuine or just a different form of attention seeking?
So that's when that celebrity girl that left social media. I have different views on it.
With her, it was a bit. When I read the article, I was just like, "Oh, really?" Like it just felt like she's still looking for attention in a way, in a very backward way. But the attention was obviously to make a point. It was to prove, you know, But at the same time, you are in control of your social media outlook and input kind of thing. I only ever follow less than 100 people on my social media, Instagram or whatever it is, because I want to make sure that when I'm looking at my feeds, I'm getting what I need from it. So whether it's fashion, inspiration, whatever it is, I'm in control of what I see, meaning that if I don't like what someone's putting out there, I don't have to look at it. I can block them, I can unfollow them, it is what it is. I feel like if you're constantly on there, just constantly searching and scrolling and going through, you're gonna have a very twisted conception of life because you feel like everybody's going on holiday, everybody's buying this, like you need to realize that that's in your phone and you're in, you know, real life is here. And I do have like a slight obsession. I am a kind of like in love with Instagram because I like the fact that you can look at people's perceptions of life through Instagram, meaning that it gives you a chance to look through somebody's eyes into how they see life. And I think that's very, very interesting. But at the same time, because of that reason, people only want to show one version of life from their perception, meaning they only want you to see the good times or the times they're spending money or they're, you know, out of their friends. Never show the times where they're broke or they're upset or, you know, they're not having a great day.
When they're on the toilet.
It's always like, I'm out with my boys, riding, whipping it, getting my money, and I'm like, you know, there's people online on social media, I know I'm not living that, like I know them.
I saw you in Tesco's the other day.
No, it could be an hour. I just seen you.
Hey. I just saw you on the bus.
How you in the wrong place? Are you trying to show me somebody else that you wish you was? Because I feel like a lot of people do. They show you what they wish they could be, or what they would love to be, or how they would love to live. And that's fine if you're doing it for inspirational purposes, meaning this is who I want to be, so I'm going to speak it into existence type of thing. Completely understand that in a kind of like, what do you call it? What they call the boards? Vision boards kind of thing. A kind of vision board thing. I completely get that. But saying that is your life when we know that's really not how you're living, it's like, okay, so when you wake up tomorrow broke and your life says that you have Louboutins and you have this nice car,
Instagram does
everything. What happens when I see you on the 243 bus? Everybody just wants to be liked. That's what it comes down to. Every single platform has a like button. And the thing of, we all want to be liked.
That's true.
Yeah, we go around wanting to be liked. And it's a thing of wanting approval from other people. The moment you have approval from yourself, you no longer crave the likes. You no longer check the likes or wonder why is nobody liking it. You just live your life to live your life. So I think with that girl doing that, I completely understand her point. I completely understand, I get it. But at the same time, social media has a purpose if you're using it correctly. And I think some people abuse it. And I'm seeing more naked bodies on social media than I've ever seen in life. Like,
oh my God.
There's only so many times I can see twerks and, like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I see you twerking. I get it.
Well done.
But why you only got a thong on? Like, things like that. It's there's attention and there's craving attention.
Yeah.
I think the craving part is the problem because we all want to know that we look good. Like, if I look good on a night out and I put a picture up and everyone's like, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling myself. But then if I put it up because I don't feel I look good and I want somebody else to validate me, that's the problem.
Yeah. Like, don't look at it like that. Some people don't even realise that they're doing that, if that makes sense. Like, they'll take the 50,000 pictures, scrolling which one's best, blah, 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 and they're not thinking of it as, and they are like sitting there.
Yeah,
editing. How many likes?
They're editing their life.
Literally, like, this filter, that filter, okay, good. Like, and they're not even, some people, not that they're oblivious to it, because they know what they're doing, but I mean,
it's a mind
the
trap.
scale of it, the scale, like how deep that is, like really, do you know what I mean?
Because you can't live life with a filter.
No,
you can't. I wish I had a filter. I wish I could walk around in Perpetua. But I can't. That's what I feel. I love Perpetua. I cream out on Instagram. They're my flex. But I can't walk, you know, let's just shout it out there. But I can't walk around in Crema and Valencia, whatever the other one, Valencia, whatever it is, every day. I can't do this. I don't want to use my name. They are my favourites. They are my
Beyonce has my back. Has my back.
Shout out to Aiden. No one's out for the Carolyn though. No one's Carolyn. And if you want black one, Willow is the one. But I'm just saying, nobody's living their life in real filters. Like, I can't just say, oh, today I'm going to be black and white and grayscale, press the button. It doesn't work like that. And I think you have to really think to yourself, why am I on Instagram? Why am I on Twitter? Why am I on Facebook? For me, it's a communication thing. I get to connect with my supporters. I get to promote my business. That is what I use it for. I'm not sitting here saying, please, can you look at me? Please, I want to feel pretty. And some people do that, and that's where it becomes a bit too deep.
Just to add to that, also, it's basically following on from Bantalization's question to us. The question is also, you know, as bloggers, have you ever felt like you had to make your lives look perfect on social media? So obviously we've kind of touched on it, but I mean, maybe not make our lives look perfect, but does part of you still?
I try and make my output look professional, if that makes sense. I think more so than look perfect, because I have to be aware that brands are looking at my platforms and looking at whether they want to work with me. And if I'm posting pictures of foolishness, they're going to be like, da, da, da. But at the same time, I don't really care about that, because I post what I want to post. I don't really care what brands think. But sometimes you do have to think to a certain extent. If this is my business, because I have a business and a personal one, so if this is my business Instagram, is it reading my business? If it's not giving out what my business is doing, then it's not a business Instagram. And that's when I have to reassess what am I posting and why am I posting it? Is it benefiting anybody? In terms of my life being perfect to other people, I don't do that. I show you the bad times, I show you the good times, because that to me is my life. And that is what life is. And I don't think people understand the beauty in your bad times as well. When you're going through things, there's somebody out there who may actually be able to inspire you or relate to you, or you might be inspiring somebody else or relating to somebody else. I've had people say to me, like, I thought I was the only one that felt this way. And there's tons of people that feel this way, but we don't show that side of us, because we think to ourselves that's being weak, that's being vulnerable. But vulnerability is very, very beautiful. And I think you can learn a lot in that space of being vulnerable and feeling weak at times, because you don't have to be strong 24/7. It's very hard and tiring to do that.
So like hair, like blogging about hair, natural hair, whatever, and maybe if you're doing tutorials and stuff, there's times where I might do a style and it's come out
terrible,
bad. So then I'm talking, so then I'll be like, okay, well, I'm not going to put that out there. But then it's just like what you were saying, well, maybe I can show like times when, okay, it hasn't actually gone that well. This is maybe how I rectified it, or this is maybe how I changed it, or what I did as a consequence of that. I guess that's something I personally haven't really.
Because not every day is a good hair day. Like, that's real life. We don't wake up every day looking flawless. As much as
it's the same. The other day you posted a video of me deep conditioning a plastic mug. You're broke. You're broke. I didn't have no deep conditioning track. Don't worry about it. At the same time,
did what I needed to do though.
I didn't have no 5p bag. It was free. I saved it. Not paying no 5p.
But that is real life. And at the same time, if you can kind of talk about blogging and things like that, when it comes to reviews, some bloggers don't do bad reviews, and I find it very interesting, because it's like, I need to know if it worked or not. If it didn't work, let me know that it didn't work. Not saying I'm not going to go buy it, but it gives me another opinion. Tigress wants to be in this video so bad.
Can't be a bit
It gives me another...
Sorry, but...
Guys, listen. You've had your time. I just think when it comes to social media, you're in control of it. You put out what you want to put out. And if you're scared to show your real life, then you have an issue. I've read articles where people have faked going out, like for nights out. They've got dressed up on their makeup and stuff. And like, I'm in the club and they're in the bedroom. And I feel like I'm being real serious. And I'm just like, I don't understand this. How does your mind say, let me get dressed up, put on my good clothes, do my hair, and pretend I'm popping bottles in a club?
But then you have to go and wash the outfit because you just wore it. And a waste of washing powder.
Okay, but when you post that picture of you in your good outfit, and everyone's like, what, Rachel, girl, Jay, you looking good. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good.
That's like me going outside and getting a compliment on the street. I feel good. It's the same thing. It's just that it's in my hand. That's what it is. If someone in real life says to you, look ugly, you've got two choices. You can never really fight them. Like, what are you really gonna do?
That point before, social media isn't life as well. Like, some people take it too seriously when you want to get in an argument and then blame the person. But then, that's another story. But it's the same thing.
But even with that, and even with arguments and even celebrity arguments, I'm like, does no one have no one's phone number no more? I don't understand what's going on.
Just pick up the whole world.
They want to write essays, screenshot it, fit it into the square because they don't fit into the square, put it on Instagram, and then be like, oh, read it. I don't have time to read a book. Let me know what your problem is and let's do this. Like, it's just so stupid.
Yeah. People like drama.
Yeah, that's what it comes to. What it is. When you've only got 140 characters, like, what's that like?
Like, I don't like you, end it, that's it.
Yeah, I put a full stop, that's another character, just leave it blank.
Yeah.
Because there are some Instagram and internet keyboard warriors that are fighting for their life on social media with letters and emojis, right? Life gone! Like, I don't understand.
Life gone.
They don't need your energy.
No. Because that energy you could be using to help someone. And I had to come to a realization a couple of years ago, like,
I have to do the same thing.
Why am I arguing with these people? Like, even with the whole bloggers and whatever it is, why am I giving these people time that I could be using to be editing a video or, you know what, do what I'm doing? It's too much. It's like, I don't have time for this, and you shouldn't have time for this either. You should be doing what you're doing. Like.